Hey, what's going on? It's Matt Plapp, and I want to walk you through the ROI report, the dashboard that our clients see that tells them every metric of their program in the ROI engine. But before I get to that, what is the ROI engine? Well, if you haven't seen my book yet, let me know. I'll get you a copy. It is Don't 86 Your Restaurant Sales. It is based off of this program that we've built and been running for a couple years with restaurants all over the country. And honestly, there's restaurants across the globe running it through my agency program. But before we get to this dashboard, I want to talk to you what the difference is about what we do versus what you're accustomed to. And I expect anybody in traditional media that watches this video will be like you here in the background. Crickets. I worked in media. I worked in radio. I've worked in different marketing across the different platforms with sports marketing events and radio and TV. They don't know how to show ROI. Honestly, you don't know who actually did anything. So before we get into that, let's walk you down the traditional media. So number one, you buy traditional media advertising. Number two, your ad runs. It's in a paper, it's in a magazine, it's on radio, it's on TV, it's on a billboard, it's in a Reds baseball stadium, the Cincinnati Reds, whatever. Did anybody react to it? Did they hear it? Did they see it? Did they do anything? You don't know. Yeah, they might have said something to their buddy next to them. You have no idea. They might have went to your website. You have no idea. Last case, worst part is, was there an outcome? Did they spend money? And that's the part that has mystified advertisers for years. I remember when I was in 1999 in radio advertising, did it work? I didn't want to know. I didn't want to walk in my clients and ask that question because I was scared of the answer because I didn't know. They didn't know. Now let's talk about the ROI engine. Same thing. You put an ad out there. We use this also for a lot of organic things with regards like in your restaurant at events. But we put the ROI engine in play. We know that people see it because where it goes, especially digital, Facebook, Instagram, we know of the metrics that people see it. And guess what? Now we're way ahead of mass media. We've got the next step. We know everybody that comments, likes, shares it on Facebook and Instagram. We can see it. And guess what? Those 500 people that they comment on the post every month, we can see their comments. We can see the people that engaged in that post, what they said, why they said it. And then guess what? It leads to them being able to be marketed to based on their engagement. Now, the next step is you just built a Facebook Messenger database. And by the way, that's kind of a big deal because it goes back to what email marketing was when I got in marketing back in 99. Huge open rates, huge click-through rates, huge engagement. I'm talking 85 to 95% open rates. I'm talking engagement of anywhere from 45 to 85%, what we're seeing. They talk to you. They get in touch with you. They have a conversation with you, unlike anything else. So we're already way ahead of the game with regular traditional marketing. Okay, well, now the next step in our program is they opt in through email as well. So now we get a messenger database and we get an email. So guess what? You see all these emails. You know that, hey, we paid Matt's company to do the ROI engine, and we got all these opt-ins. And we grew an email database as well as Messenger. Well, okay, again, we're way ahead of mass media and traditional media, but guess what? It gets better. Like Billy Mays would say, but wait, there's more. Customers redeem. Our program is redeemed in Messenger. We can see when Matt Plapp walks into your restaurant and spends $45 and when he spent it, and we can tie it into the whole program. You see that right here, ring your register, and you can see the people that spent money and when they spent it and how they spent it. And guess what? You can market to those people based on their spending. So now that takes me back to the dashboard. What is the dashboard, you ask? Well, this is our ROI engine report. We break it down into 3 metrics because our program has 3 metrics. We have the ad exposure. We have amazing results for our Facebook ads. We have the database. We have the database that we grow with this entire program. And then last but not least, we have the sales because that's what everybody really wants to see. But we weight this a little differently. So you'll see at the top of the screen, this is actually a live clients campaign from the month of August. It shows us at the top of the screen last month's results. In this case, 4,500 in sales, 40,000 people reached, 302 opt-ins. On the right, we see the same thing, the reach for the current month, September, for the last month, August, for the month before that, July, and for the averages for the year. And what we look at with our program is 3 main things. Now, by the way, this dashboard you're looking at is tied in with a Google Sheet that is automatically updated live and is automated. There's about 15 tabs here that have crazy data you'll get to see with regards to the days after people opt in when they're redeemed, the amount they spent, who they are. It's crazy. The amount of data here is unbelievable. It'll make your head spin. But that's what helps us optimize the campaign. But let's just look real quick. We allocate in our program 25% of what you spend in our program. So let's just say in this case, a round number like around $1,000. If you spend $1,000 a month in our program, you're going to have ad exposure. We account 25%. So you're paying us $1,000, us and Facebook in this case, as an example. Let's say it's $1,000 that is spent. Okay, great. That is going to lead us to 25% of what you're paying us to do is get you exposure, because there is some validity there to vanity metrics that reaching 40,000 people for $231. Now, that's not the spend. That's just the percentage of what you're paying us, how we allocate it. So you can attribute what you're paying us to do in different aspects. So the attribution of that 25%, 231.70 in this case, reached 40,000 people around this restaurant because we run really targeted ads. It got 698 people to engage, 275 comments, 46 likes, 19 shares. Those are great return on that dollar amount, because if you were to purchase that type of media for $230 somewhere else, one, you wouldn't get majority of this, 90% of it. But even some places you did, if you did Facebook ads on your own, I can promise you, you're more likely not going to get the results we get. That's what we do for a living. It's what we're experts at. The second part's the database. 25% again, we attribute 25% of our efforts to growing this database. And there's a huge value here. If we look at this case, 231.70 again, we grew 302 opt-ins this month, 77 cents per opt-in. So if I just look on a low end and say, okay, our program right now is getting 26.78% of the people to walk in the door. They're spending on average $18.31. So 26.78% of 302 is 80 people, ballpark, 80.87. If I get them to come in 6 times a year, and what that's saying is that a combination of these people coming in 4 times, 8 times, 12 times, 15 times, this particular brand, I go to their place about twice a month. That's 24 times a year. So what is the value of that? Well, what this says is they come in 6 times, spend $18, you're going to get about $8,800 in spend. So let's just say, for example, for giggles, this is 80% off. Well, okay, 80% of 8,000, still going to give you a pretty good return on that $231 spend. It's not 80% off, though. It's pretty freaking accurate, and you're going to see a huge return there. But now let's go to where everybody always turns to, the advertising spend compared to what it drove sales-wise. So we attribute 50% of our efforts to this. So 463 in this case. We had 246 redemptions. Average person spent $18.31. They had $4,504.04 in sales for a return on that dollar spent of 9.72. So every time they spent $1 in our program this month, we returned 9.72 when we attribute 50% of our efforts to this. So that's what our program does. It shows you what you've never seen before, and that is a return on your advertising dollar. So let me know if you have any questions. My email address, matt@mattplap.com. Find me on Facebook, LinkedIn. I'd love to give you a demo, or maybe just give you a consultation on how you're using Facebook ads and Messenger and maybe steer you in the right direction. But I'd also love to get one of my books in your hand. So hit me up. I'll make sure to drop ship you one tomorrow. See you later.